Andor is a new Star Wars show that came out around September, I believe, on Disney Plus, and tells the story of Cassian Andor, who's looking for his sister, but comes across two Imperial officers that try to threaten him. And once the situation goes awry, that event caused the Empire to try and find Andor and try and stop him. And this also tells a story about how Andor gets involved with the rebellion that is now trying to go against the Empire. So this is not just about Andor, this is about the rise of the rebellion against the Empire. Now, I love the original trilogy and the prequels. And Rogue One is possibly, out of all the prequels, my favorite of the movie prequels. And while the characters here are quite lackluster, to be honest, I think the overall direction in this film by Gareth Edwards and the story that they're going for nicely ties in between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope. Now, what I also been seeing from Disney is that they are terrible at continuing on from the original trilogy, but they have been okay and pretty good at getting stories in between the prequels and the original trilogy and having those connect. As we saw with Obi-Wan, I thought, in my opinion, that was a good continuation for Obi-Wan Kenobi. With Rogue One, I thought it neatly ties in the Death Star plans and how the Rebels got them, and it made the impact of Episode 4 much more impactful when they go to try and destroy the Death Star. And now we're seeing the rise of the rebellion in the perspective of one of the characters from Rogue One. And I think getting this new perspective of this character, exploring what his life was like, getting to know him and his struggles personally, made me feel more attached to this character now that I know what he's going to go through in Rogue One. It just feels more layered now, and I care more about his death. Now, about the show itself. Presentation-wise, beautiful. Out of all the Star Wars shows to come out, even The Mandalorian, this is probably the best-looking Star Wars show out of all the ones I've seen. The cinematography is beautiful. The camera actually moves around the action. It feels intense, and the directing overall is locked into this grounded aspect of the galaxy, and it captures the essence of everyday people trying to live their lives a lot better than most of the movies and shows have done so far in this universe. It made the stakes feel real, and just overall, the presentation just gave this film a lot more weight. Now, I know a lot of people said that the pacing is really slow, and that is true. The pacing, this is a slow TV show. The pacing can drag on a little bit too long at points, in my opinion. And now, that's probably my biggest problem with the show, is that the pacing could have been tightened up a little bit. Maybe cut out one episode or trimmed it down. But overall, I love the slow pacing. I love how we get to take in the galaxy, the environments, and the characters and what they're going through. And the moments just have a lot more emotional and action-packed impact as a result. There's a great scene in episode 10 that involves a character giving a speech, and it really hammers home the impact of this moment. The slow pace of everything, how everything is building towards this specific moment. It just worked so well. And all the characters themselves don't feel like caricatures. They felt like actual people going through the situation. And that's what I kind of felt like I've been lacking with Star Wars. A lot of the characters are defined by certain characteristics and not by their personality or what they're going through, and we don't get to see them progress much as characters apart from Mandalorian and Kylo Ren, there isn't that much in between. Sure, other characters did try to have some depth, but they don't really work as well as they used to. Case in point, Luke Skywalker. But with Andor, I feel like this character is deep characterization for him actually works in favor and actually helps win the movies and have a lot more impact. And it doesn't overall take away from the actual Star Wars story from Phantom Menace to Return of the Jedi. It felt like a natural next chapter to this story than after that is A New Hope. What I also love is how it made the Empire feel scary once again. Lately, Disney Star Wars love making the Empire out as a joke. It started off with The Last Jedi, and it just continued on from there. Even in some of the good projects, they felt a lot like a joke. Here, for the first time in quite a while, the Empire actually felt scary. We get to see how the government works around. We get to see how they try to one-up each other, how they try to get as much information as they can, and how they plan out their attacks and schemes. They just felt a whole lot more intimidating, and because of that, I feel a lot more fear for the character whenever they come crossing paths with a stormtrooper. Even like the stormtroopers actually do hit their targets more so now, and they felt really intimidating. Seriously, the Empire is once again finally scary, and it just made the stakes of the action a lot more impactful. Now, as I said, the pacing is quite a bit of a drag. The writing isn't always the strongest at points because of that, but overall, I found Andor to be a very good chapter in the Star Wars franchise, and I think it not only helped one of the characters in Rogue One have a lot more depth, but it gave the actual story between Phantom Menace and Return of the Jedi a lot more impact as we are seeing the rise of the rebellion, which I found very intriguing. And the performances are all really good. Diego Luna is, if I believe that's his name correctly. Sorry, I'm sometimes terrible with names. He is once again great as his character, and he overall, I all the other supporting characters, I think all do a good job. Also, I don't really have that much major that are majorly wrong with this show. Um, Only the pacing really is the problem for me. So for that reason, I'm gonna give Andor an A minus. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you guys next time.